We are just about set for the second inning of action. Want to apologize to those of you out there listening and looking forward to this game. It is the Fort Lee Bridgman baseball team hosting the Fairlawn Cutters, and with bad weather said to be in the forecast, they started this game ahead of time. First pitch originally scheduled for 11 o'clock, currently 4 minutes to 11 a.m. So, again, want to apologize for the late start on the stream here. It is 1-0. Bridgman leading the Cutters. We are in the top of the second inning. The pitcher for the Bridgman is Ethan Rybalski, and he gives up a single here to the batter number 33, Duncan, for the Cutters. Just to give you a quick recap of the first inning, scoreless inning for Rybalski getting the start. And then in the bottom of the inning, Luke Senator, the Fort Lee catcher, with a double. He was driven in by Chris Kim on a ground out. So Kim 0 for 1 with an RBI. Senator scores. Batter is showing bunt. Nice bunt drop down. Rybalski records the out. Score that 1-3. Runner does advance to third base. That was Matthew Gambuti dropping down a bunt, and now the batter is going to be the opposite pitcher. Batting left-handed, this is Dean Elias, and this is Rybalski stepping off. Did I say the runner moved to third? He moved to second. It's a sac bunt. Runner goes from first to second, 1 out, runner in scoring position for the Cutters, and that pitch is outside. The Cutters not having the best season ever, 3-8 on the year, 1-5 in their own division, but still under 500 against out-of-division teams as that pitch is outside. Dean Elias, the sophomore pitcher and outfielder, has been one of their better hitters. .292 batting average on the season with 1 run batted in. He's got a runner in scoring position now. Rybalski deals outside. Senator trying to catch the runner, and he almost did. Not quite, though. Chris Kim was there to drop the tag. Runner is safe. Chris Kim started at first base yesterday. Hope you tuned in for that one as well. It was Chris Kim at first. Today, he is at short. Stephen Kim is at second base as a called strike is poured in there. 3-1 count. It's Rybalski on the mound. Luke Senator behind the plate. Again, the middle infield. Stephen Kim at second. Chris Kim at short. Nico Sango is at first base. And Jeremiah Marrero gets the start at third base today. That pitch is low. They're going to score that a walk for Dean Elias. And that'll bring up the tall right-handed batter, Dan Calderon, a freshman. 2 for 14 on the year. He's also walked 4 times. Runners on first and second now with 1 out, and that pitch is cut on and missed by a cutter. Funny. Calderon playing right field today, batting 8th for the Cutters. Pops that one, and it hits the top of the cage. That's a foul ball. Marrero at third. Jack Dorcom is the designated hitter today for the Bridgman. He's batting 5th and hitting for Rybalski. Then it's Luke's younger brother, C.J. Senator, in left, Marcus Lee, the walk-off hero from yesterday's game, in center, and Jacob Greenberg in right field for Pete Kraljic's squad. Swing and a miss. 2 gone. And that will bring up the number 9 batter, Ryland Carringer. And that is a called strike to the very tall Carringer. Very tall, very skinny. He is 2 for 16 on the year. And he takes strike 2. Quickly down in the count, 0-2. Carringer has 1 RBI on the season. Fairlawn is actually coming off of a win. That pitch is low. Fairlawn is on their first winning streak of the year. They split a home and home with division rival Passaic Valley. Got the win at home on April 23rd, and then yesterday, a 7-2 win at Hackensack. This one is lofted into left field, shallow left. Chris Kim makes the play just barely on the outfield grass, and that'll do it for the top of the second inning. Ethan Rybalski is through 2 scoreless, and we will head to the bottom of the second inning. Starting lineup for the Bridgemen: Stephen Kim, Luke Senator, Chris Kim, the customary lineup for Pete Kraljic. Then Greenberg will clean up. Mentioned Dorcom DHing for Rybalski. He will bat 5th. CJ Senator is hitting 6th. And then it's Nico Sango, Jeremiah Marrero, Marcus Lee, 7, 8, 9. Again, we're going to the bottom of the second inning now. 1-0 Fort Lee on the RBI ground out by Chris Kim. Like Marcus Lee, well, there were a few, as you would expect, in a 12-run win. Chris Kim, one of the heroes yesterday for the Bridgemen, with a home run, a double, and 2 runs batted in. And Marcus Lee had the game-winning RBI single. Mentioned the lefty on the mound for Fairlawn. Dean Elias, a sophomore who, according to NJ.com, has thrown, after the first inning today, 14 innings for the Cutters. Prepping for this game, I was looking at the pitching statistics last night for Fairlawn. They're not good. Eight pitchers for Fairlawn who have more earned runs allowed than innings pitched. Usually 7-inning games in high school, so on a 7-inning ERA scale, Dean Elias gives up 9.69 earned runs per 7. After the first inning today, he's now allowed 19 earned runs in 14 innings, and right now he is dealing to Dorcom, batting 5th. Grounded to short. Pick is made by the first baseman, and Dorcom is retired. It's Owen Sebelash at first base for the Cutters. And then at second base, it's Carringer. The shortstop who just made that play is number 6, Miguel Monegro, one of the better players on the team. That pitch is a little low to the Fort Lee batter. It's Senator. Swing and a miss there for CJ Senator, playing left field today. After yesterday's game, now tied for the team lead with 12 RBI, tied with Jacob Greenberg as he fouls that one off. Grounded foul down the third baseline. Matthew Kong is playing third for the Cutters, rounding out the infield. Third to first, Kong, Monegro, Carringer, Celebash. This pitch is lofted into right field. Play is made by the right fielder charging in. That's Calderon. Dan Calderon in right, Duncan is in left, and the center fielder is getting DH'd for. And the center fielder is Sean Pekarsky. The batter right now for the Bridgmen is Nico Sango. 0-1 count, nobody on, 2 outs, and he takes low. Hits this one to shallow left field. Who's going to get it? No one's going to get it. Diving try by the left fielder can't be made. Big turn by Sango, but he thinks better of it and goes back to first base. It's a 2-out single for the Fort Lee first baseman. Nico Sango went 2 for 5 yesterday. Now he is 1 for 1 today. And that will bring up Jeremiah Marrero. Picked as good of a time as any for his first hit of the year yesterday. A game-tying RBI double in the bottom of the 8th inning. That tied the game at 11. Marcus Lee then came up and picked up an infield single to drive in the game-winning run. Marrero fouls that one off. Mentioned his first hit of the year, so Marrero now 1 for 7 on the season, a 143 batting average, picks up not only his first hit, but his first double, and his first run batted in yesterday. Also had 2 sacrifice bunts, and he takes a ball here. Elias sets and deals a called strike. Two the count. As it appears, the home plate umpire gives low strike calls to pitchers. Not going to give him that one, as that's upstairs. Full count with 2 outs and Sango on first base. Marrero batting in the 8 spot, and then Marcus Lee on deck. Elias steps off. The lefty with more walks than strikeouts coming into play today. And he walks Marrero there. So it's a base on balls for Marrero. That will bring up Marcus Lee. After yesterday, there are not 2, but 3 Bridgmen hitting over 400 this season, and Marcus Lee is one of them. Hitting .406 now with 5 runs batted in. He picked up 3 of them yesterday. Went 3 for 4 with a walk. Takes outside here. That makes it a 2-0 count. So Marcus Lee now hitting .406. They throw to second, trying to get the runner. Sango is called out at third. I thought he might have beaten the throw. That should be scored a caught stealing, maybe a pickoff as well for the catcher. Either way, we are through 2 innings. The score is Fort Lee 1, Fairlawn 0. Want to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors for all of their support this year. Want to thank you for tuning in to this matchup between a couple public high schools whose initials are FL. Fort Lee leads Fairlawn 1-0. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the start of the 3rd inning. Top of the 3rd, Fairlawn trying to get that run back against the Bridgman. In the 1st inning, Chris Kim with an RBI ground out. So it's 1-0 Fort Lee. Ethan Rybalski on the mound, and that pitch is swung on and missed. Quickly, an 0-2 count to the leadoff batter, Monegro, and still an 0-2 count as that pitch is grounded foul. Senior shortstop for the Cutters, hitting .281 on the year. He's also walked 7 times. That's coming into play today. This is his 2nd plate appearance, and he takes low. Rybalski coming into today, 1-0 with a 3 ERA. This pitch is grounded to short. Chris Kim. On one hop, Nico Sango picks it, and Fort Lee's shortstop throws out Fairlawn's shortstop. So now we have number 4 in the box for the Cutters. Their number 2 hitter grounds this one to third base. Marrero bobbles, recovers, throws, not in time. That was the Fairlawn third baseman hitting it to the Fort Lee third baseman, and Matthew Kong will reach on the E5. And that'll bring up Sebelash. Owen Sebelash, a junior infielder and pitcher. And there's that low strike call I was talking about before. It's an 0-1 count on Sebelash. A second straight throw over by Rybalski. Sebelash, 4 runs batted in, 3 runs scored on the season for the Cutters, according to NJ.com. Jack Winter's squad is 3-8, but they're on their first winning streak of the year. Back-to-back wins for the Cutters, and they've actually won 3 of 5 after starting the season on a 6-game losing streak. Fort Lee, meanwhile, after the win yesterday, is 9-3. Another throw over to first. A little bit of a paradox in this game. Fort Lee, a way better record, 3 times as many wins as Fairlawn, but Fort Lee, a 7-2 loss to Hackensack earlier this week. Fairlawn beat Hackensack in their last game. This one is sent into left center by Sebelash. Coming on to make the running grab is Marcus Lee, and there are 2 away. And this is interesting. It happens. The Fairlawn cleanup hitter is wearing a different uniform from the rest of the team. Fort Lee wearing their home whites. Fairlawn wearing, I guess, their road whites. But here we have a mostly red uniform top. And Rybalski, undeterred, deals a strike. Runner going. Runner is out. Luke Senator guns down the runner, and Ethan Rybalski is through 3 scoreless. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Bridgman up 1-0. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Rolling right along here. 1-0 lead for Fort Lee. It's only 20 minutes after the scheduled start of the game, and we're already in the bottom of the 3rd. Again, they did start a little early because of the rain. Not a ton of raindrops right now. It is a cloudy Saturday morning, certainly not as nice as yesterday. Although there is less pollen in the air. Marcus Lee lifts this one into shallow center field, and the play is made by the second baseman, Carringer, falling down, holds on. Nice play by the Fairlawn second baseman. So we will go to the top of the Bridgman lineup. Stephen Kim hitting in his customary first spot in the order and taking outside. Yesterday, Kim raised his batting average on the year to .421. Had a walk and 2 runs now in 12 games. Leads Fort Lee with 10 walks and 18 runs scored. Lots of production the Bridgmen get from their middle infielders. Chris Kim leads the team with 2 home runs and is tied for the team lead with 1 triple. Stephen Kim, after yesterday's game, is also tied for the team lead in triples. Yesterday, Stephen went 2 for 4 with a triple, 2 RBI, a walk, and 2 runs scored. He's down in the count here, 1-2. And he fouls that pitch off. Bradley Lee got the win in relief yesterday for the Bridgmen. Lee took the loss against Hackensack, then yesterday came on through 2 innings of relief and picked up the win. Now 3-1 on the season, as that's another foul ball from Stephen Kim. 1 out, nobody on, and we are going to have a meeting on the mound between Elias and his catcher, Gambuti. Matthew Gambuti, the junior, came into play today, hitting .227, 3 RBI, and 3 runs scored. It's going to be another 1-2 pitch. And the fair lawn lefty deals, sent into center field, 2 away. So with 2 down, that will bring up Luke Senator. He doubled and scored his first time up, and that is the scoring in this one. And now Luke Senator is 2 for 2. Clean single up the middle. Senator, 2 for 2. A quote-unquote bad game for Senator yesterday, 1 for 4, with an RBI double and a walk. Lowered his batting average to an even .400. Now he's well over that mark as Chris Kim takes low. Luke Senator, a double yesterday, a double today, now 3 on the season. That ties him for the team lead, and he scored on an RBI groundout by Chris Kim. And it's now a 2-0 count on the number 3 batter for Fort Lee. Chris Kim now with 11 runs batted in on the season. Elias deals, sent into deep left center field, giving chase and making the play is the center fielder Pekarsky. So Kim does have an RBI, but he's 0 for 2. We are through 3 innings of play, certainly different from yesterday's game. 12-11 affair in 8 innings. Here we're through 3. It's 1-0 Fort Lee. Don't go anywhere. Here we go. For the top of the fourth inning, Ethan Rybalski still out there. He's been dealing so far today. 3 scoreless innings. He has a 1-0 lead. And still batting because of the caught stealing is the guy who was hitting at the end of the inning wearing his incorrect jersey. Taps that one foul. This is Antonio Jimenez, a senior. And Jimenez takes low. He is batting for the center fielder Pekarsky, also cleaning up. Coming into play today, Jimenez was hitting .222. 3 runs batted in. Takes low there. So it is a 3-1 count now on the senior, DHing today. And Luke Senator couldn't hold on to that one. Full count. And Rybalski deals just a bit outside. Leadoff walk for the cleanup hitter for the Cutters. Coming into today, Rybalski had thrown 7 innings, only given out a couple walks, looking for his second win of the season. He has 1. Gabe Garcia also has 1 win. And then Bradley Lee now has 3, and Jacob Greenberg leads the team with 4. And now we have the number 5 batter and the left fielder, Ryan Duncan. Like Jimenez came into today with a .222 batting average. Jimenez is getting pinch run for. A runner wearing the proper white road jersey today, and that is a strike poured in there by Rybalski. Fairlawn in their first season under head coach Jack Winters. That's a terrible bunt attempt, and it's an 0-2 count. They went 12-15 last year. Jack Winters has taken over. They are 3-8. 1-5 in division. Also 1-3 on the road, but that road win came yesterday. 7-2 at Hackensack. Rybalski throws over. Runner gets back. Rybalski checks the runner. And deals, grounded to short. Chris Kim slides, backhands, throws to first. Not in time. That's going to be an infield single, but on the throw, Chris Kim will get banged for an error, allowing the pinch runner to go to third. And Fairlawn seems really excited about it. Runners on the corners, nobody out as they trail by 1. That pitch from Rybalski is low. Interesting batting stance for Matthew Gamboudi, the junior catcher. 1-0 count. Gamboudi hitting here with runners on the corners, and it's now a 1-1 count as he lifts that one foul. These two teams did not play each other last year. This one is lofted into shallow center field. Marcus Lee can't get there. Lets it take a bounce. We are tied at 1 on the RBI single by catcher Matthew Gambuti. So we're tied at 1. Gambuti picks up what should be his 4th run batted in of the season. The pinch runner for Jimenez scored, and now Fairlawn will look to take the lead. 2 on, nobody out. Bunt is dropped down, and it goes foul. This is the pitcher, Elias. Good offensive numbers coming into this one. I mentioned not great pitching stats for the left-handed sophomore. Let's see if he tries to bunt here with an 0-1 count. He does. Pitches high and away. Rybalski dealing to his pitching counterpart. Not bunting, popping it up. Jordan Marrero makes the play in foul territory. That's a foul out for Elias, and there's 1 away. And that'll bring up the 8th batter and right fielder, Calderon. Big swing and a miss. That pitch is low, blocked by Senator. Runner trying to take advantage. Oh, that was foolish. Luke Senator guns him down by plenty. Kid's got a cannon attached to his body where his right arm should be. Second runner thrown out. Not really attempting to steal, but that is a caught stealing for Senator. 2 out, runner on first now in a tie game. And that pitch is low. Obviously, the pitch that Senator blocked and then threw the runner out on was a ball, so it's a 2-1 count. And Rybalski deals foul ball. Today and yesterday, Luke Senator throwing out guys trying to advance on the bases. Really controlling the running game is the 3-year starting catcher. Lined up the middle. That's a base hit. Would have been nice to have 2 guys on base there instead of 1, but be that as it may, it is a single for Calderon, and there are now 2 on with 2 out. Should be Gambuti, I believe, on second base, Calderon on first, and it is Carringer at the dish. Ryland Carringer has made a really nice defensive play today. Offensively, he has not done much for Fairlawn. That's why he's hitting 9th after all. And hitting 9th in a lineup that does not score a lot of runs. Fairlawn has scored double-digit runs once this year. That was back on April 5th. That was more than 3 weeks ago. That was a 17-10 loss to Mahwah. Called strike on the inside part of the plate to Carringer. Rybalski ahead in the count, 0-1. This one is lofted into shallow center field, and the play is made. Didn't even make the outfield. Chris Kim catching the humpback line drive right behind second base. Fort Lee coughs up the lead, but keeps it at 1. So it's a 1-1 game as we are halfway through. 3.5 in the books, 3.5 still to go, unless, of course, there's extra innings, like yesterday. We'll be right back as Elias takes the mound for a 4th inning of work for the Cutters. Bottom of the 4th inning underway. Elias still on the mound for the Cutters, and he gets a foul tip from Jacob Greenberg, leading off the bottom of the 4th inning. Greenberg cleaning up today for the Bridgmen, and it's now a 1-1 count. Greenberg starting yesterday on the mound, starting this one in right field and fouling that pitch off. Not a great day yesterday on the mound for Greenberg. Wound up going the first 3 innings for Fort Lee. Gets a no decision. However, he also picked up an RBI and a stolen base. Now tied with CJ Senator for the team lead with 12 RBI. And now he's going to raise his batting average. That's a single to right field for Fort Lee's right fielder, Greenberg. Went 1 for 5 yesterday, but with a run batted in. And now he is on first base for Jack Dorcom. Plays a lot of third base for the Bridgmen, DHing for the pitcher today. Throw to first. Not in time. Who does Gambuti think he is? Luke Senator? He is not, and Greenberg is safe at first. First pitch coming now to Dorcom. Any minute now. No, it's not. Time is called. Elias took too long. Dorcom went 2 for 4 yesterday to raise his season batting average. Also picked up an RBI on a sacrifice fly, so he now has 7 ribbies on the year. And now he taps this one to second base. He is retired, but the ball was not hit hard enough to turn 2, so a runner in scoring position for Fort Lee. Call that a productive out for Dorcom. And with 1 on and 1 out, that will bring up CJ Senator. Two for 4 with a walk and a couple runs scored yesterday. This is Fort Lee's 13th game of the year. CJ Senator has scored 13 runs. That was a ball. So a 1-0 count to CJ Senator. Runner on second, 1 away as we are now in a tie game. 1 run in the first for Fort Lee, 1 run in the fourth for Fairlawn. Spin around, throw to second. Runner gets back. Senator steps back in there. Elias getting the sign from his catcher. Want to be careful with a runner on second base with your signs. And that pitch is outside, so a 2-0 count. And the lefty deals. Lined up the middle on a hop. Monegro throws out CJ Senator. Score that 6-3. Greenberg advances on an out again. And there's now a runner on third with 2 away. It'll be Sengo trying to drive in the go-ahead run here for the Bridgman. Shoots this one into center field. Pekarsky is right there. Pekarsky's been busy today, and we are through 4 innings. Rybalski and Elias, 1 run allowed in 4 innings for both of them. We will head to the 5th inning here at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex. We are rolling right along. Don't go anywhere, folks. Ethan Rybalski back out on the mound for a 5th inning of work. And he deals a strike here in a 1-run game. Only about 45 minutes after scheduled game time. They did start early, so this one is actually a little over an hour old. And if yesterday was exciting because of all the offense, today we've had a little bit of a pitcher's duel. Rybalski and Elias, 1 run allowed in 4 innings. Elias had an ERA over 9 coming into today. but he's thrown 3 scoreless innings. The Cutters have tied the game in that time. Rybalski trying to keep it right here. Lined on one hop. Chris Kim sticks with it. Nice play by the Fort Lee shortstop. We're looking at the top of the Fairlawn order, so this is their number 2 hitter, sending this one into right. 1 pitch, 1 out. That was actually the second out of the inning. That was Kong flying out to Greenberg in right. So 2 quick outs, and that will bring up Celebash, the number 3 hitter. And he swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Sebelash has been one of the better hitters this year for Fairlawn. Mentioned they don't score a ton. 1 game this year out of 11 in double figures. The second most runs they've scored in a season was the 7 runs they scored yesterday in a win at Hackensack. 1-3 on the road. Fairlawn trying to make it 3 in a row after an awful start to the season. That pitch is inside. 3-1 count. And it'll be a full count. Fairlawn getting a measure of revenge yesterday against the Hackensack Comets. Their season was ended last year at Hackensack in the NJSIAA tournament quarterfinals. They won the first round, but then lost 8-1 to the Comets, beating them this year for a second straight win. Looking to make it 3 in a row. They trailed 1-0 after 1, but Fairlawn tied the game on an RBI single by Matthew Gambuti. This one is grounded to short. Chris Kim gets around it, throws on the run. Nice play. Chris Kim scoops it, throws it. Nico Sango picks it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Rybalski, and we'll head to the bottom of the 5th. Fort Lee will look to go back out in front. Ethan Rybalski has gone 5. He's allowed 1 run. His counterpart on the mound, Elias, came into play today with an ERA over 9, and that's per 7 innings, not 9. He has only allowed 1 run in 4 innings, lowering his ERA significantly. Now he's dealing with Jeremiah Marrero, who swings and misses. Elias so far today lowering his ERA from 9.69 to 7.82. Still giving up more than a run per inning. That would probably change if he goes a scoreless inning here. He's ahead in the count 0-2 on Jeremiah Marrero, one of the heroes yesterday for Fort Lee, although I guess technically you could say every batter was a hero for the Bridgemen. Chris Kim's leadoff home run in the bottom of the 8th set the tone, made it a one-run game. Marrero tied it with a double, and then Marcus Lee won it with an infield single. Marrero fouls that pitch off, so it remains 0-2. Marrero started the game at second base yesterday, dropped a couple sacrifice bunts, and then Pete Kraljic had his pitchers bat twice in a row to keep them in the game. Paul Bonilla singled in his first at-bat of the year. Bradley Lee struck out, and then Marrero came back into the game in the bottom of the 8th and tied the game with a double. Way inside. And it's a 2-2 count now. Marrero starting the game at second base yesterday, playing third base today, and from 0-2 to 3-2. Marrero, Lee, and Kim, 8-9-1 here in the 5th inning for the Bridgemen. And that's ball 4. Marrero down in the count 0-2. He winds up working a leadoff walk. So that'll bring up the center fielder, Marcus Lee. Raised his batting average yesterday from .357 to .406. 3 RBI and 2 runs scored for Fort Lee's number 9 batter. As Elias throws over. Marrero does have a stolen base this season. Lee shows bunt and bunts it foul. In a low-scoring game with subpar weather like this, you're kind of playing for one run here. You could go a few different ways with this. You could drop a bunt. You could have Marrero try to steal. Obviously, you have the top of the order coming up. 0-1 count. Lee bunts again, way up the first baseline, and the play is made 3-4. Now they throw to second. Marrero gets back. He went way too far off the bag, but he is able to get back. So it remains a sac bunt and a runner on second with 1 out and the top of the Fort Lee order coming up. So Marcus Lee 0 for 1 today with that sacrifice hit, and that'll bring up Stephen Kim. Elias checked on Marrero at first. Now he checks on him at second. Stephen Kim, a fly out to center field, his last time up. Ten runs batted in on the year. Fort Lee, after yesterday, has 5 players with double-digit RBI. Greenberg and C.J. Senator with a dozen each. Chris Kim, Stephen Kim, and Luke Senator now with 10 each. And hey, those are the next 3 batters. Kim, Senator, Kim. Outside, so a 2-0 count on Stephen Kim. Runner on second, 1 away here in a 1-1 game. Fairlawn looking for a third win in a row. Fort Lee looking for a second consecutive victory. Grounded, stopped by the shortstop, but he won't even attempt to make the play. So that's a single for Stephen Kim, but it also keeps Marrero at second base. And with 2 on and 1 out, that'll bring up Luke Senator. Already thrown 2 runners out on the bases today. Now looking for a clutch hit late in the game, and we have Marrero getting checked on again. You want to be careful here if you're Marrero. You have the really good part of the Fort Lee order up right now. Don't want to make any outs on the bases. That pitch is outside to the Fort Lee catcher. The Bridgmen 5-3 in non-divisional games after their win yesterday. Luke Senator shoots this one into right field. It's a base hit. Marrero will stop at third. Senator hit that one right on the screws, and the right fielder got the ball in quickly. So the bases are loaded with 1 out. Marrero on third, Stephen Kim on second, Luke Senator on first, and it will be Chris Kim hitting with the bases loaded. And because of that, we're going to have a meeting on the mound. Luke Senator is 3 for 3 with a double and a run scored today. So he has his batting average back to being well over 400. And we have a new pitcher for the Cutters. The 3 runners on base are the responsibility of Dean Elias, but he will not face Chris Kim. Jack Winters going for the righty-righty matchup against the right-handed hitting Kim. Elias will go 4 1/3. He's only allowed 1 run so far, but he could wind up giving up as many as 4. And if any runs do score, he would then be on the hook potentially for the loss. The new pitcher for Fairlawn is a junior. Elias, the sophomore, gives way to the junior Cole Noggle. Like Elias, he came into today with more earned runs allowed than innings pitched and more walks than strikeouts. So basically, this is a golden opportunity for Fort Lee. Bases loaded, 1 out, struggling pitcher on the mound, and one of Fort Lee's hottest hitters at the plate. Chris Kim is 0 for 2 today with a run batted in. That is the Fort Lee run. His ground out drove in Luke Senator in the first inning. So Chris Kim, now with 11 runs batted in on the season. We know he has power. Saw it on full display yesterday. And now he's going to look to give the Bridgmen the lead. Yesterday was a back-and-forth game. It was a comeback victory for the Bridgmen. They actually came back in the bottom of the 8th inning. They led this one 1-0. It's 1-1, and Chris Kim is ready to go. That's a big swing and a miss. Naugle, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, and 3 hit batters in 6 1/3 innings of work this year. According to NJ.com, there is nowhere to put the Fort Lee shortstop. And the Fort Lee shortstop lines it up the middle for a base hit. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Luke Senator goes to third. Chris Kim has 3 RBI. He takes over the team lead, and Fort Lee takes over the lead in this one. It's 3-1. Now runners on the corners with 1 away. And Greenberg at the plate. So still a great opportunity for Fort Lee. They've taken the lead. Now they're going to look to put some distance in between themselves and the Cutters. That'll help. Shallow fly ball dunks into right field. Senator scores. It's an RBI single for Jacob Greenberg, and it's 4-1 Fort Lee. That'll bring up Dorcom, now a 3-run lead for the Bridgmen. Chris Kim on second, Jacob Greenberg on first. And throw over to second base. So those 3 runs are all charged to Elias. He winds up going 4 1/3. He is on the hook for the loss now, as he winds up allowing 4 earned runs. Pitch to Dorcom is grounded to third. There's 1. There's 2. A 5-4-3 double play gets the Cutters out of the 5th inning, but the damage is done. Fort Lee heads to the 6th inning, up 4-1. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Fort Lee has retaken the lead against Fairlawn, and Ethan Rabalski, for the second time today, is pitching with a lead. Pete Kraljic sending his starter out there for a 6th inning of work. He's been good so far today. And the first pitch is fouled off by the red uniform top wearing Jimenez. A walk his last time up, and then he was pinch run for. And that's low, so it's now a 1-1 count. Called strike 1-2 the count. Elias does still wind up lowering his ERA on the season. Gave up 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings of work, so his season ERA goes from 9.69 to 8.88, which is still not very good. He's on the hook for the loss. Rybalski trying to hang on for the win, and that's a swing and a miss. Jimenez down on strikes, and there's 1 away. That'll bring up Duncan. A single his last time up. He was cut down on the bases by Luke Senator. The Fort Lee catcher has gotten Kong and Duncan on the bases. The Fort Lee right-hander deals, called strike on the inside corner. 1-2 the count for Rybalski, who's already made one of the longest starts of the year for the Bridgemen. Looking for his second win of the year. Fort Lee looking to make it a winning streak and looking to get into double digits in wins. Very softly hit. Play is made on the fly by Chris Kim. I don't know if you would call that a pop-out or a line-out. Score at F6, and there's 2 away with nobody on. That'll bring up Gambuti. He has the Fairlawn RBI today on a game-tying single in the 4th. Here he has a pop-up and a fly out to Marcus Lee in center field. Just 1 inning left now for the Cutters as they trail by 3. 6 innings of 1-run ball for Ethan Rybalski. Will go to the bottom of the 6th. Fort Lee will look to break this one open. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for the bottom of the 6th inning. This game has been the polar opposite of yesterday's game. Much better pitching, a lot less offense, moving a lot more quickly, significantly worse weather, and a ball outside to C.J. Senator. A 3-run 5th inning for the Bridgemen. They lead this one 4-1. That's a fair ball down the third baseline, and a really, really nice play by the corner infielders for Fairlawn. Senator is retired 5-3. That's Kong at third base, and that was a really, really good play. That ball was straddling the line. He got to it, and from the third baseline, threw out a speedy C.J. Senator. One away and a called strike to Sengo. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Chris Kim now has 3 runs batted in today. That gives him 13 on the year. And Jacob Greenberg's RBI single gives him 13 RBI on the year. So they are now tied for the team lead. Gambuti thought he had called strike 3. He did not, so he stood up and went to throw to third for nothing. It's a 1-2 count on Nico Sango. And that pitch is low. Noggle still out there for the Cutters. Inherited 3 runners in a tie game and allowed all of them to score. Chop to third, that's a foul ball. After getting 2 outs last inning, Noggle has now thrown 7 innings on the season for Fairlawn. Gambuti thought he had called strike 3 again. He did not. 3-2 count. Lined up the middle for a base hit. A single for Nico Sango. I guess Noggle now has gone 7 1/3 innings on the year. He's allowed 8 runs, all of them earned. And again, allowed the 3 inherited runners to score last inning. Now, Nico Sango has himself a single. And with 1 on and 1 out, it'll be Marrero. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count on Jeremiah Marrero. The Fort Lee infielder walked and scored his last time up. He led off last inning with a walk. Throw to first, Sango gets back. Marrero walked, moved to second on Marcus Lee's sac bunt, and then 4 straight singles for the Bridgeman. Kim, Senator, Kim, Greenberg, and it was 4-1. Way inside. 3-1 count on Marrero. Picking it up offensively late in the year for the Bridgeman. 1 for 1 with 2 sac bunts yesterday. And now 2 walks today. 2 on and 1 out for the Bridgeman with Marcus Lee coming up. Now we're going to have a meeting on the mound. Again, a sac bunt for Lee his first time up. 3 RBI yesterday, now 5 on the season. Jack Winters is going to leave Noggle in the game, dealing with Fort Lee's number 9 batter with 2 on and 1 out. You definitely want to keep it here, as Fairlawn only has 1 inning to work with, and they do not have a very powerful offense. That pitch is low to Lee. During this 2-game winning streak, Fairlawn has scored 12 runs. That's decent for public school, high school baseball. 6 a game. In their 2 losses before that, they only scored 2 runs. And even in their win before that against Teaneck, only 3-0. This is not a team that scores a lot of runs. As you can tell by all the pitching stats I've thrown out, they do give up a lot of runs. Fort Lee can score in bunches. They're looking to separate here, and we have a throw over to first. Quite a few of those today from the Cutters. It's a 2-0 count to Lee. It's a 3-0 count to Lee. And he takes high. So Marrero walks, then a 4-pitch base on balls to Marcus Lee, and Fort Lee, for the 2nd inning in a row, is threatening with the bases loaded. Bases loaded and the top of the order coming up, and it will be a 3rd Fairlawn pitcher trying to get out of this jam. Naugle was unable to. We will see if the next Fairlawn pitcher has better luck getting out of a bases loaded jam. Don't go anywhere. Back here with you on a cloudy Saturday afternoon now, about 12:21 Eastern Time. Tommy Aquilina, Fort Lee leading Fairlawn 4-1. Last inning, Naugle came in with the bases loaded in a tie game and allowed all 3 runs to score. Here he loads the bases and gives way to Sean Pekarsky, and he deals a strike to Stephen Kim, who has already scored his team-leading 19th run of the year today. That was last inning in that 3-run burst. And now he sends this one into center field. That's a base hit. 1 run scores. Fort Lee will go base to base here. It's an RBI single for Stephen Kim. Nico Sango scores, and it's 5-1 Bridgman. Now it'll be Marrero on third, Marcus Lee on second, Stephen Kim on first, and Luke Senator at the dish. And what a day for him. 2 runners gunned out on the bases, and Senator is 3 for 3 so far with a double and 2 runs scored. Fort Lee looking to break this one open and win for a second day in a row. That pitch is low. 1-1 count on the Fort Lee catcher. Pekarsky deals low. Runners stay put. Stephen Kim now with a run batted in and a run scored. Now he's on first. Luke Senator takes low. Three-one count. Obviously nowhere to put him. But he does put him on first base. That's a walk from Pekarsky. Marrero will score. A walk and a run batted in for Luke Senator, who is having himself a day. 1 RBI and 2 runs scored now. 3 for 3 with a walk. And here is Chris Kim. He can break this one wide open here if he gets a pitch to hit. Kim already has 3 runs batted in today. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count on the Fort Lee shortstop and 3 batter. Still just 1 away. Naugle got 2 outs last inning and 1 here. So Naugle went 1 inning officially. He's allowed 2 runs. The runner on third is also his responsibility. Umpire called that a ball, so it's a 2-1 count on the Fort Lee shortstop. And now it's a 3-1 count. If he gets a pitch to hit here, Chris Kim is going to put his A swing on it. I can guarantee you that. Pekarsky, another Fairlawn pitcher with subpar numbers this year. And that's going to continue. Ball 4 to Chris Kim. A second straight RBI walk. Marcus Lee scores. It's 7-1 Fort Lee. So Naugle gives up all 3 inherited runners. Then all 3 runners he leaves on base score. Bases still loaded, still 1 away. These runs would all be charged to Pekarsky. The batter is Greenberg. Pekarsky, an inning and 2/3 on the season. And he had allowed 4 runs, 2 earned. All the runners on base now are his responsibility. 0-1 count on Greenberg, and weak hack at that one. He knows it, and he's down in the count 0-2. Greenberg has an RBI today. And now he has more. Lined into right field. Base hit. 1 run in. 2 runs in. Chris Kim goes to third. On the throw home, Greenberg goes to second. It's a 2-run single for Jacob Greenberg, and it's a 9-1 Fort Lee lead. At this point, you can start thinking about a mercy. Fort Lee puts another couple runs on, and they have 2 runners in scoring position, and that would be that. That would be a 10-run lead here in the 6th. pad your stats time for Fort Lee, and Fairlawn just wants to get to the 7th inning now, so they bring the infield in. This one is lofted into right by Dorcom. Play is made. Chris Kim tags. Chris Kim scores. Greenberg also tagged and advanced. So that's a sac fly. It's now a 9-run Bridgman advantage, and there's a runner on third with 2 outs. Infielders back up with 2 outs. But still, a chance to end this one here for CJ Senator. Tried to duck out of the way of that one. It was a strike. He's down in the count 0-1. A hit here ends it. 10-1 Fort Lee. And did he check his swing? Yes, he did. 1-1 count on CJ Senator. So it was 1-1 going into the 5th, and now Fort Lee has come alive. They now lead 10-1, looking for a mercy rule here in the 6th. That's high. If they do score here, that would be a complete game for Ethan Rybalski. He's already looking real good to pick up his 2nd victory of the season. Low and away. 3-1 count on CJ Senator. Nico Sango is on deck. CJ has lost the team lead in RBI today. I'm sure he's heartbroken. Gonna try to get it back. Monegro can't make the play. That's a base hit. Run scores, and that is a mercy rule victory for the Bridgmen. Not exactly a walk-off for CJ Senator, but it is an RBI single. And that wraps this one up. A 10-run outburst for the Bridgmen between the 5th and 6th innings, and they wind up routing the Fairlawn Cutters 11-1. A 7-run 6th inning ends it, capped off by CJ Senator's RBI single. Way too many great games and statistics to go over, but it is a rout for the Bridgmen. They beat Fairlawn 11-1. The Cutters see their winning streak come to an end. They are now 3-9 on the year. For Fort Lee, they have won 2 in a row, and they improved to 10-3. A 12-11 win in 8 innings yesterday, an 11-1 win in 6 innings today. They'll get a day off tomorrow and then go back into divisional play with a home-and-home against Dumont. The Bridgmen have protected this house well, now 5-2 at home on the season. Ethan Rybalski picks up a complete game win, 6 innings of 1-run ball. And once again, it's an 11-1 win for Fort Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in on a rainy Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. Want to thank everyone who makes these broadcasts possible. Want to thank the Fort Lee Athletic Director, Michael Raftery, our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors, and you for tuning in all year. I will have one more broadcast. It's going to be a Fort Lee softball game next Wednesday, so tune in for that one. The Bridgman baseball team wins yesterday. They win again today. And have a good one, folks. Tommy Aquilina saying see you next time.